16th Brown County Commission meeting to order. Commissioner Sutton, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
First item on the agenda, we have the first reading of ordinance 138, the Patton rezone.
Application has been made by Doris Patton to the Brown County Board of Commissioners for a change of zoning. Hearing to be held in the Commission Chambers Courthouse Annex, Brown County, South Dakota, on July 16, 2019 at 8:45 a.m. for the purpose of rezoning the following property from Chapter 4.06 Agricultural Preservation District to Chapter 4.07 Mini Agricultural District. Lot 1, D. Patton Addition, in the southwest quarter of Section 28C126 North, R63W of the 6th PM, Brown County, South Dakota. The public is invited to attend the hearing and present comments, testimony regarding the amendment to the second revision of Brown County ordinances pertaining to rezoning the described property.
I'll move it. Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Pfeiffer to approve the first reading of ordinance 138, the Patton rezone. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't get a copy. Oh. See that again.
I'll just do a couple things and then we'll go on to the next thing.
We have minutes from July 9th, general meeting. Move it.
Second.
Moved by Kepley, second by Pfeiffer to approve the general meeting minutes from July 9th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Claims.
Move. Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Weiss to approve claims. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
HR report.
Move. Second.
Moved by Pfeiffer, second by Sutton to approve the HR report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Fair contract.
Move. Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Pfeiffer.
Side-by-sides weren't in there, I didn't see, right? We haven't approved that yet.
I didn't have it. I
Where's
didn't
the
see it there, no.
Oh,
Okay.
really? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
You have another chair.
Pretty good, yeah.
That's what you're pushing. We have the interest fund increase. The sheriff wants to move it from $1,000 to $1,500. Looks like it was last done in the late 80s, early 90s, and the travel obviously increased since then.
Move. Second.
Moved by Weiss, second by Sutton to increase the imprest fund increase from $1,000 to $1,500. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And for the petty cash, the welfare office actually no longer wants their petty cash, and they have $500. We would just like to move that to the imprest fund.
I'll move
And
it.
they'll no longer have their petty cash.
Second.
Moved by Pfeiffer, second by Kepley to authorize the welfare department to no longer carry petty cash. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Authorize advertising request for proposals for the Brown County racetrack.
Move. Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Pfeiffer to authorize advertising for proposals for the Brown County racetrack for the, starting 2020? Would be that proposal. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Auditor's report of accounts.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Kepley, second by Sutton to approve the auditor's report of accounts for June 2019. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We have that next gen quote, but I believe someone is coming in to talk about it.
Yep.
Scott Masson's here, so we'll hold off on that. Special malt beverage licenses.
Move. Second.
Moved by Weiss, second by Sutton to approve the special malt beverage license. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And the one for Spurs requires a public hearing, so we're going to authorize advertising public hearing for special malt beverage.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Kepley to authorize advertising for the special malt beverage for Spurs. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all that I have.
Sheriff's report.
Oh, sure.
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Pfeiffer, second by Kepley to approve the sheriff's report for June 2019. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, we have open and review hay cutting bids for the fairgrounds.
Notice is hereby given that sealed proposals will be open for consideration at 8:50 a.m. on July 16, 2019, in the Brown County Commissioners' Chambers, Courthouse Annex, Brown County, South Dakota, for hay cutting on county land, approximately 24 acres, located at the Brown County Fairgrounds, Lot 1, First Replat, Adami, Northview Edition, located in the southeast quarter, Section 1, T123 North, R64W of the 5th PM, Brown County, South Dakota, with a minimum bid of $60 per acre. 2 additional one-year options, 2020 and 2021, may be exercised at the discretion of the Brown County Commission. Provided notification in writing is received from the Brown County Auditor's Office by November 1st of the year preceding the option. All hay bales are to be removed no later than 2 weeks prior to the Brown County Fair. Envelopes containing proposals shall be addressed to the Brown County Auditor, 25 Market Street, Suite 1, Aberdeen, South Dakota, 57401, and are to be clearly marked on the outside of the envelope, proposal for hay cutting at Brown County Fairgrounds. And we actually received one proposal. For hayland to be cut and baled on the Brown County Fairgrounds, I bid $66 an acre. Larry Ackerman.
That was the long bid.
That's the only bid, yeah.
I'll move to accept it. Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Piker, to approve the hayground lease to Larry Ackerman for $66 an acre. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Just a couple minutes.
Hmm?
You got it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. Sir, you got any?
Did you want to talk about signing the drawing that was sent last night for the 2 weeks ago? You approved use of the blue building parking lot for the LD Shrine Parade, and so they were asking for a chair signature on this document.
That's basically just showing how they're gonna lay their,
Basically how they're using the parking lot.
and they also show that they're gonna have the opening for the emergency vehicles to get out, so there'll be access
Yeah.
for them to get out of that.
Oh, to go to the south, yeah.
Okay. Yes, because they're aware of it. They stated that when they made their pitch that day, that they would keep it open, so I would move the approval to sign the document.
Second.
Have a motion by Sutton, a second by Kipley.
And then I just let Mike know if he wants to throw a couple flags up to make sure he could do that.
Sure.
That's there in the right
We need to know
spot.
how much leeway you need.
To authorize the chair to sign the temporary layout for the Shriners.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I think you had one in May, and I got it wrong, but I can give you this one.
I think it is. Next item on the agenda, we have ordinance 139, public hearing for possible adoption of emergency temporary zoning ordinance, map and subdivision regulations.
A public hearing will be held in the Brown County Commission Chambers on the 16th day of July 2019, beginning at 8:55 a.m. in the Commission Chambers, Courthouse Annex, Brown County, South Dakota, to consider an emergency temporary zoning ordinance, map, and subdivision regulations, amending second revision Brown County ordinances Title 4 and Title 5. The public is invited to attend the hearing to present comments and testimony regarding the amendment to bring Title 4 and Title 5 into compliance of taking over the extraterritorial zoning jurisdiction being replaced by the City of Aberdeen. At the conclusion of the hearing, the Brown County Commission may adopt Brown County Ordinance 139. And the change here is in chapter 4.02 jurisdiction, there's a strike of the 3 miles of Aberdeen. And then in chapter 5.0102 jurisdiction, there's strike of the word Aberdeen. Otherwise, the ordinance has no changes.
Sounds good.
I'll move it. Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Weiss, to adopt the ordinance 139. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We're officially in charge.
New maps on the wall for Doug's signature, and you'd be good to go.
I've got a question on that.
Sure.
Just for you guys, I mean, I'm on the planning and zoning board for Brown County. How much difference is there, I know what our ordinance kind of say, but how much difference is there between our ordinances and the 1 mile per se that the city has been kind of taken care of? Is our ordinance gonna be enough to, I mean, I'm sure that I know that the city's a little more stringent on some of their whatever. Is that going to be, is ours gonna be enough to take care of kind of what the city was doing?
That remains yet to be seen.
Well, you know why I'm asking, because it's falling back on us and then it's gonna fall back on you guys. And the 3 mile, I understand, but that first mile, personally, I think there needs to be something a little bit more stringent on it, because if we don't, then it's gonna be down the road, it's gonna be, well, how come you guys didn't do this, and it should have been, whatever. Not saying there has to be a whole lot of changes, but something to kind of look at.
I couldn't agree more, and I think that was our intent from the very get-go, to
Yeah.
have that be a joint
Yeah.
jurisdictional area. It's not, so we'll have to handle these things on a case-by-case basis, in my opinion.
Well,
as
and
they come up, and we know that there's going to be some tweaking
Yep.
that'll have to
Okay.
be made to accommodate things that we can't foresee right
Okay.
now.
Well, and I understand you had to do this, it was kind of,
Yep.
got dumped on us all of a sudden like, but I think there's something that we needs to be looked at in that first mile, for sure. Personally, that's
And
my
we'll
thought.
spend the next probably 18 months compiling a list of those things that we will need to tweak.
Okay,
And that's
Okay.
just my opinion.
okay.
The statute allows for up to a year.
Well,
to
understandable,
figure
but
that
I mean,
out, so.
it's kind of a quick deal, and it's like,
Yeah.
I read the deal, and well, there isn't a whole lot of changes done, but I understand that Aberdeen's is a little more stringent, and I do think it should have been a joint deal for that first mile personally, as you guys think probably too, which I kind of agree with. And to dump it all on, say, the county and follow the county's ordinances, I think there's gonna have to be a little bit of intermingling with some of that.
No
And
pun
I think
intended.
we've warned them of that repeatedly.
Yep.
That, hey, you're
And
gonna
we
wanna
did.
be involved, but
Yep.
if they don't want to, we can't make them,
Yep.
so.
No pun intended, but this is new territory for all of us. I mean, we're...
Yes.
And there's certain restrictions where we're actually more restrictive than the
Yeah,
city is
no, I
on
understand
certain
that.
things.
Yep.
But the simple point of it is, now as opposed to, the 1 and 3 mile limit, the county's got rules.
Yep.
They're pretty specific and they're pretty well known.
Yep.
It's just now, instead of not flying until you're 3 miles plus out, they'll fly immediately outside city limits.
Yep.
If we have reactions that we need to address, we'll take them on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
And actually, the city can request to become a part of it again, and then hopefully exactly what our intent was originally, to have a joint operation, then that can take place, but they're gonna have to come to us to request that, it'll be a joint deal.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being on the board.
Yeah.
I know it's been a fun one.
Uh-huh.
And it'll get crazier yet.
Probably. That's why I'm here asking the question.
If in doubt, just say no.
Yeah.
Well, we hope it all works out well and we don't have too many discrepancies, but I'm sure there'll be their share of those. There's just no way around it. We have this many new things thrown at us at one time. It's just going to be difficult, and it's going to put Scott and his department behind the 8 ball a little bit, but hopefully we can, within 3 to 6 months, we'll have things somewhat figured out, and we'll get better from there. Next item on the agenda, we have Patricia Kendall, Museum Director, discuss the 2020 budget. Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Patricia.
What's
that?
No fees or anything, the rest is later.
Okay.
Morning.
Good morning. Well, really, I'm just checking in. This is my first time for everything, so it's my solo flight here. I'm new to this process, and so I just want to keep everyone in the loop on how I'm working our budget and what our plans are coming up for 2020 and 2021. You may have noticed, I don't know if you've had a chance to see what we've proposed, but I did make changes to our 2020 budget in response to your concerns that you voiced when we were here before in the previous meetings. We did take a look at our operating expenses, and we did make some cuts there for 2020 to ensure that we can carry us over for personnel in 2020. I went through operational, and I did about 24% is what I cut there. And that, we can do that for a year in order to ensure that our staffing is full. There's one thing that we want to do next year, the Mountain and Plain Museum Association, about every 10 years, they have their annual meeting here in South Dakota. It's going to be in Sioux Falls, which is great for us because it's a day trip or it's an overnight trip. I'd like to send as many of our staff people to that as possible. So I do have some of that convention registration fees and mileage are bumped up right there. That's one thing that we'd like to do in 2020 for sure. But then back going to 2021, we'd like to use 2020 as a planning year, and then 2021 resume our normal budget allocation so that we can continue to make improvements and bring in exhibits and really be a value to the county. Do you have any questions?
Did you get your new staff member hired?
Well, we're
Or
in the process of, yes, we've made an offer, they have not accepted. There were some questions about scheduling, and I
Sure.
answered those this morning, so I'm hoping to have that. July has been busy. We've had a wedding at the granary, we've had meetings at the granary, we've opened 2 exhibits, and that's also, I wanted to plug our exhibits at the museum. We've got the 50th anniversary of the lunar landing. That exhibit just opened last week in our education room. And then we have our Native American artist, Sandy Swallow. She just opened today in the Lamont, and she does poetry and painting. And if you do have any questions, certainly can let me know. I just want to say how excited and happy I am to be the director. This is a lot of fun for me. I really enjoy all of this process, even budget.
Well, I know I asked you personally if you were okay with how the granary was being maintained now that it's under a Kurt Smith direction, and I know we've had an exceptional grass growing year, so is that a challenge?
I think he mows it, he turns around, and it's already sprouting.
Right.
I worked out there yesterday, I did some tree trimming with the big clippers, and I did haul away a nice little tidy pile. It does need those types of maintenance, but our weather this summer is going to be difficult to keep up with at the fairgrounds or anywhere else.
Right.
So we're happy with what he's doing, and we hope he can work us in as often as possible.
You bet.
Yeah.
Good.
And we do, that's the other thing, we need to plug our Ice Cream Social and Family Music Fest with Magic Joe and Rockin' Red. That's on Sunday, July 21st from 1 to 4 at the Granary with homemade ice cream, watermelon, lemonade.
Excellent.
I hope you can come.
Good.
What, the winter months at the granary, is that kind of shut down?
Yeah, we do shut it down. County roads are difficult in the winter. It really has its season from June through September, and we end with our big fall festival. Last year we hired the trolleys. We had 100 more people than we did the year before, because it's that population that doesn't want to drive will come if we provide transportation to them. And that worked out really well. We had over 300 people last year, and we're hoping to have more this year. We have some new things planned. We don't like to do the same thing every year. We like to mix it up a little bit. So have a gentleman who's going to be portraying Governor Millett, our first governor of South Dakota. He's going to be in character, so and some other fun things that we're going to do.
Very good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Patty. Have a good week. Thank you. .905, next item, we have Dirk Rogers, Highway Superintendent, set bid date for County Road 13, CIR project.
Morning.
And right away for
Hi.
Northern Valley Department update. An update.
Hello, everyone. First thing is after the fact, right-of-way occupancy, they actually were doing this last week. I don't think they got it all done, and I don't know how we ended up with a little oversight, but this is on County Road 13 from Brown County 10 over to Roosevelt, and they're just updating the phone service on the south side of the road, so I have no reason not to recommend it.
Second.
Moved by Lee, second by Sutton, to approve the right-of-way for Northern Valley to update the phone service. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next thing I got is, I'd like to ask that you guys set a bid date for the 30th. Is that a Tuesday, I believe?
Yeah.
And Friday's the 19th, so I would like to advertise starting on the 19th, and Kathy will have to get you the documents once we figure out what the time is, and I'll get ahold of Clark, and before the end of the day, they'll probably send that to you, the announcement. To advertise a cold in-place recycling job on County Road 13, which will run from 281 out to Road 6 at Richmond.
Are you looking to advertise twice?
Yep.
Then we'll have to push it to the 6th for the opening. Because we'd advertise Wednesday the 24th and Wednesday the 31st.
Do you have to do twice? Do you need it quicker?
Yeah.
You can do one. Put it on the website.
Well, the first one's can't be more than 10 days, or can't be sooner than 10 days before the opening. So I was trying to hit the 19th.
The Groton papers only advertise on Wednesday, that's the challenge.
Okay.
So all of the advertising is Wednesday.
That's a problem then.
Can you skip the first one in the Groton paper?
I don't think so.
Bless you.
No. We're required to do 3 legal newspapers.
But you only have to advertise one.
I think for bids, I want to double check that it's twice.
Oh, it is.
I think it is for procurement, but I don't think it would have to be for this one. I mean, double check it. I'm not qualified to argue with auditors, but the Groton papers are only on Wednesday.
Yeah, they're weekly, and both of them publish Wednesdays.
We're trying to hit a pretty small window for the potential contractors here.
Did you have so many of them located out of here?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't have an answer for that. So the earliest we can put it in the Groton paper is a week from tomorrow, is what you're telling me?
Yeah, because we can't get it in tomorrow. So it'd be the 24th and the soonest in both Groton papers.
We can just make the motion to approve the advertising once if able, and if not, then it's ASAP.
I mean, we can do the American News publishes daily, so you can run it there, but
I mean, something like that, I would challenge to get it done. Time is of the essence, so.
Is that a motion?
It is.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Kipley, second by Sutton, to authorize advertising the County Road 13 CR project, twice with American News, and once for Groton for the first
Twice
time?
for both if possible, if not,
Time factor.
yep, phase up.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So then the date will still be the 30th then,
30th.
and I'll get you the time by the end of the day, when it'll come in the announcement to you.
If you have everything ready, like typed up by noon today, ready to publish, I'll call them and see if they can't do it tomorrow.
It should be
But-
ready other than the time.
Yeah.
So we can set the time right now, then I can.
To the 8:45.
Well, we gotta check the calendar. Oh, yeah, we can just set it right for that. I mean, whatever that is.
Cool.
We'll try and make that happen.
I can call Paul and rattle his case a little bit growing too. Okay, that's what I needed for that. This feather for this.
That's for good luck.
For in your hat.
Yeah.
It was found in the front doorway, so it has some type of significance. We're not sure.
Forrest blew through here quick
Yeah.
this morning and
They had the door propped open when they were sweeping, maybe.
pigeon habit.
When I used to work for the tribe, you walk into an office and you, okay, now what's the feather for? I'm a dumb white guy, I don't know. Okay, just a few things I'm gonna update you on. We just talked about the Richmond project. That's gonna happen real quickly after the bid letting. I'm expecting in the first week to 10 days after that. It should only take about 4 or 5 days unless something crazy happens, which never happens, of course. But that isn't going to be a huge impactful. I mean, and the road will be open. There'll be a pilot car running back and forth. But I would encourage anyone that's listening or can read that lives in the Richmond area, use Road 6 and 12W and US 12 for just a few days. It's not going to be. And I'd also really request to not use the township roads any more than you have to, because all that leaves is everybody calling me and wanting us to gravel 9 townships, and I don't want to do that. So that won't be so bad. Then in August, probably looking like the second week in August, we'll start on the Richmond, the West Bridge at Richmond will be the first that they'll do, and then they'll come back and do the one at on the Richmond Road that sits in the middle of this project. That one's going to be a little bigger headache because the road will be closed for probably 4 to 6 weeks, and I'll be communicating with the township on where different locations we're going to try to put the traffic there. I'm going to do a little more chip sealing next week. Most of that'll be on Road 23. Jensen's is down paving on 23 west of Warner right now. When you have a flood event, and I know it's priority, and that's where the disruption is for most people, is that, you know, your usual routes, you can't use them. But I also don't like to let the roads that didn't get wet, per se, like our regular, I'm not pointing at you guys here in front of the maps, our regular maintenance work and chip seal work, I'm really trying hard to not let that be the roads that didn't get wet, you try not to let them be impacted by the flood event as well. So we are trying to get 75% of the chip sealing done. We're trying to get 75% of the paving done. You know, there's going to be a few things that fall through the cracks just because we're working, like today we're working actually on FEMA stuff, getting some gravel hauled and things like that. But if that ever comes up where you got a road underwater over here and then we're over here working, the point is to not let the stuff that didn't get wet be affected by the flood event. So we are running around, we're still chip sealing, we're still doing a little bit of patching. I expect at the Hall Crossing, when I get the new guys here next week, I'll have a little more resource. I can take a couple guys and put them on the Hall Crossing and they can start picking away at, I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to see that up close, but that's like, I mean, it's like a truckload of pixie sticks. Go figure out how to clean it up. So that'll be a little bit of a challenge and a little bit of trial and error, but we'll get something back open there so it's usable. Of course, the Hall Pit Bridge a mile north of there is still just walking through its process. No big hiccups anyway. They're just kind of plugging along the way their schedule says.
No Topeka shiners yet, huh?
No, not yet.
When were they hoping to be done with that one?
I'd have to look. November, second week in November. It's the last day that you can pave under the DOT spec book, I think, is what they have there for the asphalt approaches. So it's like the second week in November. Yeah, the Topeka Shiner, I haven't figured that out. Every bridge we go to, the thing's there, but it's highly endangered. So, I mean, you can have one or the other, yeah. I don't know how you can be at every bridge and be in danger.
Well, they're not there, it's just the potential.
Yeah. Them and the bats and,
Carp next.
Hill Mile, that's still gravel, but in the next couple weeks, we should get that overlaid. The stop signs up here on 10, 13 will be getting flipped around in the next couple weeks when they get some trained professionals to do that, because there's a little bit of liability in that.
Flipping them or four-way?
It'll be flipped.
You're flipping them?
Yep.
Going with it.
That one and 11 and 10. 11 and 10 will be less impactful up there, but that's the damnedest thing when you're driving down a gravel road and you come to an asphalt road and the traffic has to stop on the other road.
How,
It'll be a learning experience.
Yep.
how will that be, how would I say it, how are we gonna notify the public that that's gonna be flipped? I mean, that's gonna be quite an experience for some people that are really, really used to coming through there like that, and then all of a sudden, oh,
Yep.
you know, that's been a kind of a dangerous intersection over the years as it is.
Shannon will get it on the front page for us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and don't use the dangerous word. Challenging.
Okay.
10, 11 won't be a problem, because the ones that are on 11, they don't stop now, so they'll...
So it'll be easy enough for them.
Yeah, that'll be easy for them.
Other than, Dennis, other than the media and the fact that we're gonna have the largest, I mean, they're 4-foot stop signs.
And posting further up.
Yeah, you'll have advance warning, everything will be lit up. Eventually, I'm not prepared to do it now, eventually I wanna put a, I can't even think what they're called. They have the 4-lane version down at Millette. Now, the 4-lane version gets a little busy in my opinion, but on a 2-lane situation where you just have the one sign out there, so if you're coming down Prairiewood and there's somebody waiting at the stop signs on 10, there'll just be a single sign out there that will light up and say, you know, traffic entering, so that you can...
There's sensors with a signal that
Right.
activate when there's traffic coming through that it...
What the one that you see at Millette is about as busy or complicated or the the largest number of signs that you have on that. You know, the one I'm talking about, we're talking about one sign in each direction, just so people are at least aware coming into the intersection. And I don't know if we're going to get more way far away truck drivers when they're trucking into the bean plant or not, but so there's some things with that. But yeah, other than getting the general word out, I don't know.
Yeah.
I asked a question about doing it in a staged thing where you turn it around and have a 4-way for a while, and the DOT said in their experience that just creates more confusion. You just switch it and go from there. The one that's a little bit nicer about 10 and 11 is we've got the road closed, so there's already, odd things happening there as it is, so. Now you remember I have Road 23 down there, we were gonna do from Fernie all the way around Strack to Fernie, and the road wasn't a candidate for the cold in place project. So the money that I had dedicated for the cold in place, we're using down there anyway, but it doesn't go as far. So, but we're currently down there, we've got that milled up, processed, stabilized, and it can be paved and will be paved probably here in a little while. I gotta take a look at the money again as we ease into the summer, but that's another thing we're working on. It's, like I said, it's processed and done. Continuing to do FEMA and ER stuff. The stuff in the river bottom's still underwater. I don't know when below the Scandinavian Church and 25 down there are ever going to be open, but we'll keep watching it. Yeah, it's not good, and I don't know if you've been up north, but there's, the water's going back up. We're not in the point where things are horrible up there, but you can see that the maple and the elm are bringing more water. And I went up to Pheasant Lake last week. That doesn't look too terrible, but there's definitely water moving, and it definitely has come back up because you don't see any yellow anymore. It's all back underwater.
A couple quick 5-inch rains will do that.
Yeah, nothing to it. So, I mean, we're just pretty accustomed to it, but the gym's going to be up forever, darling, so that'll keep you guys happy down there. That's about it. August, still looking at doing those bridges, and I don't know. Any questions?
Your new paver? How's that?
We haven't got to use it yet, but we will. You noticed that in the bills, or what?
I was observing.
Yeah. No, we messed with it a little bit. We've got training slated for next week with the factory reps, and then I'm hoping we can take it down on Road 23. It's about $30,000 now. I've been through this with the budget impact and the dollars with you guys before. I mean, the money's about the same. It's just whether you're paying for the labor twice, because we're paying for our own people. So just for a little point of reference though, because I know that's a big number when you're paying for it. But the 4 miles, Jensen's has done 4 miles for us, and Leans has done 3. And we pay about $30,000 a mile for the labor. That's the labor and the equipment that's above and beyond what the asphalt costs you. So if we'd have been a little more proactive and this and that, and I'm always in here telling you, yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda, but I'm just saying that's about $120,000. It's more than that, 4.7. It's about $210,000 worth of value that we spent, hiring contractors this year, wherein those are things that we would have done ourselves. So if you convert that to $30,000 a mile to hire it done, 13 miles doesn't look quite so bad. And we do about 20 miles a year usually, so. But I'll let you know when we get it out.
But you have a short window and those miles are done now.
Yes, and that's the other part of it. It's just, you just balance it out. We had to work on flood stuff, so we're gonna pay the premium and hire the contractors to do some of the paving.
And the old paver is surplus then, or is that?
It will be. It's sitting in our yard. There's a couple items, the oil distributor, and I'm thinking there's something else. And we were talking about the surplus sale, and given how the surplus sale went anyway, we'll probably put those on Purple Wave or Big Iron or something and do it online and maybe get a little more from them. The paver's not worth a lot. I mean, it's a 29-year update, so we haven't exactly rushed out to start pushing buttons yet. So. All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
All right, stay healthy.
I will. I'm fine.
Next on the agenda, we have Chris White, State's Attorney, Office, discuss personnel.
Well, we knew Dirk wouldn't be able to keep to his time, so
Oh,
Chris is gonna come at the end.
ouch. Okay, so well, we didn't do too bad. We're at 7 minutes, for about 2 minutes
He
is
was
all.
here, so I could give him a hard time.
So we'll put that at the end of the agenda for Chris? then?
Yeah, it's gonna
Okay.
be executive session, so I think it makes more
Okay.
sense to do it together anyway.
Well, 9:20 then, we're,
Right on time.
Paul Severson, IT, discuss the equipment purchase and department update. Paul here?
Paul is.
Morning.
Morning.
I know I emailed this all to you guys, but I printed you some copies in case you needed them.
But thank you.
In case you needed to review. This year, this is another one, Kathy, sorry. This year in my budget, we budgeted to replace all our switches and firewalls. And we've been working for 6 months on quotes, got them narrowed down finally. Came in down to Cisco and Juniper, which are the top 2 companies for switches anyway. We both got some pretty deep discounts, over 70% from retail. As it came in, Bytespeed came in on the Juniper switches at $91,000, and Marco came in at $139,000 and some change for the Cisco switches. So at that, I mean, we're looking at $45,000 difference between the two. And then on the firewalls, Juniper came in at $6,900 and SonicWall came in at $7,400. So with that, I would ask that we go with the total Bytespeed quote of, let me see if I got my numbers here, $98,000, $487 for the switches and the firewalls. And we had $173,000 budgeted, so we're coming in roughly $74,000 under budget. There'll probably be, like I said in my explanation, a few $1,000s worth of SFPs and things as we get going on the project, but should still be well under $65,000 under budget on the project total. So I guess I would ask for the authority to go ahead and go forward with the project so we can get it moving.
Is this a 19 expense?
Yes, it's in my 19 budget.
So it takes a while, you know, and then Cisco's end of the year is end of July, so that's when you get the best prices, so that's kind of what we were shooting for, and Juniper kind of matched everything up and came in under their apples to apples port count and, you know, functionality. You know, it's huge for speed and security to keep this stuff up to date, and we haven't updated this in 7 years, so we're at that point.
And the work will get done this year yet, as far
Yeah.
as
Oh, yeah.
they're able to...
Yeah, as soon as we get approval, we'll order and it'll start going in. It's a fairly short project once you start the program of the switches. It's just a matter of swapping them out at that point. So,
And you're comfortable that you got everything.
yeah, I've been through these so many times, I can pretty much recite them word for word, but yes, I've got port counts, I've got everything we need, the right cut as far as how many switches with each ports in it, and speed, and PoE plus, and fiber, and everything else that we're going to need long term. And the big thing is software, you know, with security, it's the new gens with the new software is so much more secure than what we're sitting on right now. So it should streamline that whole security function.
Is this including labor, or you guys put them all in?
We'll put them all in. There's $4,500 of initial setup and, you know, training and that kind of stuff on there. That's on, should be the last item on the quote. It was in,
Yep.
I added on their quote the $4,500 for
Page 2.
yeah.
So it is included, or it's not?
It is. It's all, that's total.
Okay.
Other than
That's
that.
not included in total.
Yeah, but I included it,
Gotcha.
if you read my line there. Yeah, because it's kind of critical, it's a new system, we're going to need some training and a little support to first get the initial setups done, and it's good to have the factory guys doing it. So, you know, other than, you know, the SFPs, you know, those are kind of, you don't know until you plug them in if they're all going to work or not, so, you know, that's what I'm, you know, we might need as we go.
I'll move to approve the recommendation of the IT department on the purchase of the switches and firewalls.
A motion from second from Lees to approve the IT's recommendation for our switches and our firewall to go with byte speed. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I know you worked hard on getting the dollar amounts down.
You know, and since we're in the budget, budgeting for IT is hard because you're looking a year down the road. So, you know, you come in with numbers on what you think it's going to cost, and when you can spend the money, you can start dealing. And so we always try to come in a little under. This one came in really nicely under, but, you know, right time of the year, the right situation. The only other update, we did build an FTP for the state's attorney's office so they can stop printing and burning discs for all the attorneys when they're doing discovery. We're rolling that out Thursday. I think we're training the staff on it, and then all the outside attorneys will have to print their own and bring their own. It'll just go up on the site. It's secure. That'll save a bunch of paper and a bunch of time for the SA office, I hope. That's our goal anyway. And then once that's rolling, we'll start rolling it out to some other departments that kind of need, because the files are getting so big we just can't email them and nobody can accept them. So finished that up yesterday with Ernest, so Thursday we'll roll that out and then keep moving that forward. Eventually, hopefully, we can put the commission packet up there so you guys can get it all electronic instead of paper. And they can you can just log in and look at what you need to look at. So that's the goal, is to keep cutting down and getting more electronic.
That's the next step of file sizes.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants more information, they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, so.
So is the sales rep for the company, is that local or?
Yes, Ken Young. Yeah, actually Bytespeed is a member of the Aberdeen Chamber even, so. Their headquarters are in Fargo, Fargo.
Moorhead.
Fargo,
Yeah.
Moorhead, yeah.
Ken used to be with the Aberdeen School System.
Yeah, Ken used to run the IT department in the Aberdeen School District.
Oh, okay.
That's how you know the name, so.
Sounds good. You're on. Go get them. Order them up.
I will get them going, so. Anything else you need from me, or?
Talk about update, is there anything else going on we need to know about? I mean,
Just that our training starting next week for Windows 10 and the virtual, and we'll start rolling those out, so. Got a good good chunk of them signed up, got a few missing. Tomorrow I'll send out the list and we'll try to pick up the other ones. And then we are doing a Saturday session for 24/7 because some of the people work full-time during the week, they couldn't make it. So Henry requested that, and so we made a one Saturday session for those people. So other than that, that's the big thing. Then of course the fair's right around the corner, so we're already gearing for that, making sure that's all set to go, which will be a week of prep that just seems to be long days, but it is what it is, One week a year, and here we go, but, everyone puts in their time and effort on that, so it's not just us.
Dwayne and I had a few questions from Fair Board members about the speed of the scanners. Have they been working with you on that?
Yes,
Are we going to be good, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
last year they said it was a...
a lot of that is the scanners themselves. But, we have we purchased an iPhone 6 with the scanner on, and it's extremely fast. We purchased 3 access points just for the scanners.
Since last year?
Yep, we'll put them up next couple of weeks. Kind of got to wait till we can get into the facilities, so, yeah, and they'll only be for the scanners, but, other than the human aspect of it and ShowClick's speed of their website, everything we're doing is there. We'll run some speed tests on it and then we can narrow it down, but I know if it seems to be a problem compared to the one we own and the ones that we rent from ShowClick, I think we'll have to look at purchasing, because those old iPods are not great, the batteries don't last on them, and they're not built for this kind of network anyway, but we're going to run that test this year and see what happens. And then when Dwayne and I and Derek sat down and looked at purchasing them, it was about a 2-year payback from what we're paying on rent, and we own them. So it's not a terrible deal, but, if that seems to take care of the problem. But, yeah, it's kind of... Right now everything's great, but then we don't have the pressure of the fair, where you're trying to go through 1,000 people in 15 minutes. So that's kind of, you can only test that when it's happening kind of thing. So kind of like that first year with Easy Ticket Live when their website crashed the first 5 minutes, and that was a day that none of us will ever forget that we're involved in that mess. So yeah, we're on top of it, and hopefully we'll get it as fast as we can this year, and then we'll know if we need to make any changes next year.
Okay.
But, we did separate that out just to kind of make sure that there's no odd things there.
Lots of moving pieces.
Yep. That's fair as one big moving piece, I'll tell you, for everybody, so.
Sounds good.
All right, appreciate it, thank you.
Getting around for the next piece.
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, we have Scott Matson, GIS coordinators, Spillman and Next Gen 911 GIS update. Is Scott out there?
I think so.
Yeah, I think he does. Scott and Kent are both out there, I think.
Yep. Good morning, Scott.
Morning.
Morning, Kent.
Morning. Kent.
Oh. How's everybody today?
Great.
Good, and you?
Good. How about you?
Okay, well, this is a 2-part project consisting of a Spillman CAD GIS update and a Next Gen 911 GIS update. The Next Gen 911 is a statewide initiative to be able to provide dispatch services for local PSAP in case services ever were to be down.
Everything in order?
And so we've already provided data to the state, and this is just a final synchronization effort that kind of overlaps with the Spillman CAD initiative, which is largely looking to do both at the same time, because the same vendor that reviews one reviews the other, so they're working on both simultaneously, really. So the Spillman, what we're trying to do is just get to the newest and latest version of their software, their GIS software. That software serves 3 purposes. It creates the locators that verify addresses as they're called in emergencies. It verifies what emergency response units get sent out, ambulance, fire, EMT, and then it serves out a mobile map to the responders to help guide them to the emergency. The current version of Spillman that we're working in is several versions behind the GIS version within Spillman, several versions behind where we really should be. But the problem is that the version of GIS that we're in, 10.2, don't want to get too many numbers thrown out, is the highest level of GIS we can use to support the level of Spillman that we're in. We can't go any higher or it doesn't support back to the version we're in. Yet the version of GIS we're in is 5 versions behind what we could be at. So I equated a lot to being like using Windows 2000 in 2019. You know, we need to move ahead. We're getting so far behind in GIS. And so this newer version of Spillman 911 is called GeoVerification. It's a more accurate way of verifying addresses, more up-to-date mapping resource. We've already been working on, I've been working on getting the data ready for this changeover. There's a lot of work that goes into changing data fields and creating layers, and we've gotten to about as far as we can go. Now we need to hand it over to Geocom, the vendor for Spillman, so they can do the final review and changes. They can line up training. There's in-house training that's about a month long to get myself and all the end users up to date with the software. The total cost for the contract is about $20,600. And it's going to then not only get Spillman up to date, give us a better 911 software, but it's going to allow us to move GIS forward so I can support all the other offices that I support in a more efficient manner.
I know with voter registration, I look at doing the addressing with more GIS incorporation. This would be helpful for us down the road too.
And there are just tools that are beyond the 10.2 version that we're currently using that we haven't been able to utilize. But we've got like the elevation data, the LiDAR that's sitting there that 10.2 doesn't work very efficiently with, but 10.3 and 4 do. They're meant to work with 3D elevation data, and so it's just going to be a host of resources that open up when we move forward.
Yeah, they're only able to make the software work backwards to a certain point, and we're kind of at the tail end of that point is what's going on. And but it'll also give you the flexibility, obviously, road closures and whatnot too, where we can push that information out to the mapping system as well, which is huge, you know, with the flooding that went on this spring. You know, it helps us, you know, the first responders, you know, it shows up in their map. They got to take an alternate route to get where they got to go.
So live updates, that's really the biggest frustration that's been felt between myself and all the dispatch folks, is that we can't do live updates right now. We have to replace one data set with another, which means downtime, which means preparation time to do that. And the new version, GeoValidation, will be live updates. As I make them in my GIS office, they will push right through.
Currently, when we do a map update, it's a day project.
Because it requires some manipulation and some treatment to
backwards
retrofit.
compatibilities, and it's
A day project for these 3 offices, another day project, or at least for me to prepare it for that next day. So 2 days for me every time we do an update.
So with the updated version, it'll have
as soon as you change, as soon as the new address comes in or something, it's up there.
It goes to the map
Done.
immediately, and it's
live.
done.
Again, we equate it to using a 20-year-old operating software. You know, it's just things get slow, they aren't working the way they should. You just got to move on. You got to get something to work. So.
Is this in your current budget, or are you looking for next year?
Well, that's the thing. I budgeted, I did throw it in for the budget for the following year.
2020?
Yes. But what we're thinking of, and hopefully you guys will agree to that, if I have some funds that I can allocate to it. Scott has funds, and Paul has some funds. If we're able to divvy this out with our 3 departments, I think we can get moving and get this finished this year. So we're where we need to be, and then that wouldn't even be in my budget for the following year.
And with some of these savings, we can still stay under budget without having to supplement, right? Make that happen.
So there will be no supplements in all 3 budgets?
Should not be. And, you know, in past years, I mean, my office alone has returned funds every year because I don't use all of the professional fees and training fees and such that I budget for this kind of stuff on a smaller scale, and they get turned back. And so I guess you could just say that this is the one project in 10 years that we need to do. And it'll be a while before we need to do another one.
Another point for me, so that, if you recall, I brought in that Comtech quote for our roof that was $27,000 that got signed on. Well, between Paul and everybody over there, we were able to come in $7,000 under that. So now the new quote is $10,000. So I have that cash kind of sitting there that I could apply to this project. if
So
need
did
be.
they have to rebate you that? Hadn't you already sent them the 27?
What? No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no, we did not. That was merely the quote that I believe that
Gotcha.
Doug had signed on, so that we just need to have the new quote signed for that
They sent
$20,000.
us the invoice and we sent back, what about all the stuff we supplied you didn't, and then
Right.
they corrected it.
Sure.
Right, the invoice, so.
So if they were to do this update, is that something that can be done relatively soon, or is that a stretch out a ways for the time factor for them to get to it?
The training takes a little while to set up and get completed, so this part of this contract, there's two parts of it, I guess. I was answering the Spillman update part of it. This, they said 60 to 90 days to complete this, and I'm hoping closer to the 60-day window, which would put us into September. If we can get a hold of Spillman and say, all right, because Geocom is doing this for them, that we're anticipating then by sometime in October being ready to roll, have it scheduled so that they can be in here and doing the update. So really, I'm hoping by the end of this fiscal year to have the training done, be live with this, be going. And I mean, ideally, I would have liked to have done this 2 years ago, but here we are, and it'd be nice not to push it off any longer.
Right. We're kind of getting to that critical phase where we're gonna have to make a move here with it.
Is there a problem as far as splitting it out? You have 3 different departments,
If they're all users of it, it's fine.
it's not a problem.
Scott
I don't think
Mike's
splitting
going
the
to commit
costs
to it,
out.
but he even said he may or may not have some funds that he could kick in since it ties into his department.
Well, it definitely involves all the departments that would pull out of that, so. And I guess, I don't know, dollar-wise, I guess we'd have to look at, what you can contribute, maybe that'd be a number you can throw back at us, but I don't see any problem with it, but I guess it'd be nice to know.
Where?
I think initially we're looking at 5,510, but that
Right.
could change.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I could commit 5 fairly easily, I think, from on my end,
I'm pretty comfortable with 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there as well.
Especially if you guys can assure us that it's not gonna trigger a supplement.
Yeah.
Use that out, it seems to me
The
you're wasting an awful lot of time trying to accommodate.
If an emergency comes up that requires some funds to deal with that particular emergency that was unforeseen, a big flooding event or something brings in that's something that I can't guarantee, of course. But looking at things as of today, I can guarantee it won't require supplement.
Yeah,
But
for
it
me-
definitely
For me,
would-
the 10 would just be less I'm gonna turn back at the end of the year, but less you have to budget for next year.
But it definitely increases your efficiency in your office.
Oh,
in all the way through,
drastically, yes.
time-wise and,
It's just when you use, whether it be hardware or software, you have to keep it up to date, I mean, or it becomes unsupported. We're at that point where we just need to move forward.
Yeah, we don't have much support on our GIS right now because we're down 5 versions.
And, third-party softwares play in large to this kind of stuff. Spillman's not the only third-party software. We have some others. And if we don't upgrade our GIS, it makes it where I can't use these other third-party softwares because I only work with the newer versions. So it all ties together.
The piece for us, as far as, from the dispatch end, support the agencies we support, having those live updates for them. I mean, we had, how many versions of mapping emails were you sending out, on a daily basis when we had all that flooding all of a sudden? Within an hour, all of a sudden you got another road that's going underwater, and so you have to go and remap everything again and again and again. With the live updates, we push that out, and our first responders know it. We can't go this way. Here's our route, so that's a huge thing.
and even for outside users, you can simply say, here's the link and here's the narrative of what the update is, and we'll pull the live version up.
I think that when the EOC was open, we were updating the map every 40 minutes, 30, 40 minutes, seemed like.
Yeah.
It's pretty much 24/7.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And the 20,006 will cover both components.
Yeah, the breakdown between that 20,006 is on page 7 of 13, but that will be the total amount to cover both.
Move it.
Second. Moved by Kipley, second by Sutton, to authorize
Spillman Next Gen 911 GIS update, with the money coming from several different departments. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks for providing us a workable solution.
All right. Thanks for your time. Next item, we have Judy Dosh, building maintenance. Discuss 24/7 building. Rachel's favorite subject.
Get on. Ready. Okay, that goal too.
Morning, Judy.
Good morning.
Good on you.
Hi Jude, how are you? Good.
One of those days.
Oh, Henry.
Good morning.
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 Morning, Sheriff.
Would you bring your support staff with you, Judy, or what?
I have backup.
Yeah, I see that.
You're all interested.
Oh, okay.
I have the quotes here for the 24/7 building.
And this would be doing what, remind me? Are we doing the wall, or are we doing just the bathroom?
Bathroom and putting in a door and,
I hope we don't faint.
well, let's see here. Gotta get them opened up.
So this is not the wall, this is just the door and the
The
bathroom?
door and the bathroom and the wall around.
We're not gonna build the wall.
We're not gonna build a wall.
Nobody's getting a wall.
Okay. Got a quote from, I had asked 3 people. I had asked Zeller, Huff, JDH, and Quest. I didn't get a quote from Quest. JDH's came in at $45,850, and work to begin October 1st or sooner and completed by November 1st of 2019. That was one thing you had requested I put in this packet.
October 1st, November 1st?
Mhm. I have Huff Construction, $31,800.
31?
$31,800. And he's got a start date of on or before September 1st of 2019. And then I have one from Zeller Construction, and his is $39,177. And he said we would be able to start on this July 22nd, 2019, or as soon as paperwork is complete.
You had a chance to review them and make sure that they all meet requirements?
Yep.
Guaranteed no change orders?
Well,
Interesting.
So you're,
yeah.
basically, just to refresh, we're putting in, replacing one old door that's kind of bad shape, and a new pad, frost-free 4x4 pad on both, and then putting a new door into the office area with a frost pad under it also, and putting an ADA bathroom in, and building a wall around the furnace to keep it separate from that.
Mhm.
And that's kind of, now are we replacing the door going into that office? Is
And
that
the door that goes into
the
the...
door going into that office also?
Yes, the one on the north
side
side.
of
Yep,
the- Okay, those
Yep.
are the items that are bid then.
yes. And the new door that we would put us, you know, that they would both get the frost-free. Because there's no, I mean, we need a slab of cement, and if you don't do it right away, I mean, it's just gonna heave up in the wintertime, and you can't use the door that we just put in, so, you know, we had to spend a little bit more so that it's done right while we're doing it.
And the new door goes into the locked portion of
Right.
it.
Yep. And like the office, we get LED lights, just that little office, and in the bathroom we get an LED light. I'm taking the light that's in the bathroom and putting it in the furnace room, and we'll just put an LED bulb in there. But I'll use that fixture over.
Henry, this is gonna work for you?
We'll make it work. You've got that money in your budget.
Well, like I said, I was holding on to not spending some at the museum, so I'm holding on to that. But Mark also had the check from, what was that for, 15,000 even?
For what?
He had gotten a check for 15,000 from the grant money.
Oh,
So that 15,000 could go toward that.
Actually, it'll go towards wages, and the wages to use that we already budgeted in there.
Well, I appreciate the work you put into getting the bids. I'll still be opposed just because I think that money should be put towards a forever home that we could look here in the courthouse for it. I just don't see that blue building being good for office space or being a forever place for this. Although I do appreciate the program and the money and the time that's going into this, so thank you.
I'd make a motion to go with the Huff bid.
Second. I have a motion by Sutton, a second by Weiss to do the remodel portion of the blue building with Huff Construction of $31,800. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries.
Well, thank you. It keeps the good and secure for the employees there, and that's what we basically needed to make sure that nobody got hurt over that happened before.
So if Huff can
Thank you.
start September 1st, do you have to contact Scott Mines and have some stuff being moved around that's in there?
I will let him know. I will talk with him today and let him know that we need to start getting stuff and finding different homes for the stuff that's in there, and so that'll be
Yeah, he's all good with that.
another project. Yeah, so that's not a big deal. So
Okay, we're gonna sell that building. This is a necessary step.
Where are we at with the Millen building? We don't know. When's the...
Basically, we got, Carly's reviewing the bid notice, and once we do that and set a date, then the plan is to have everybody out by November 1st.
oh, Scott's here.
He must have his name in. He looks
We have to kind of start cleaning out your office over there. I already told him. I think he knows it was coming, so.
But thank you,
Anything else, Judy?
No, well, there's just a couple things, just get your guys' okay or whatever. I want to remove the emergency management on the south side, on the west side here, the wording on it, and then replace it with planning and zoning. Is that okay? And
On the
then,
building you're talking?
yeah, because we have emergency management. And then, one of the other things, which I'm really sad, because I planted them, is I've been watching the front trees. The one on the east side is looking really bad.
The evergreens?
Yep. The other one is really getting big, which I just love it, but it's starting to, so it's like we could cut it up, but is it gonna look really funny, just this one big tree with everything all cut up? And the other one I think is gonna have to go, because it looks really sickly. I noticed it last year. I was hoping it was gonna come out of it. I don't think it's going to come out of it. So if you guys want to look at it, I never wanted them to go because I planted them. So kind of hard, you know, to give up trees, but something that we need to do. I might as well take them out.
Maybe it's time to retire then.
Maybe it's
I might want to move.
For her, you.
My money's on Judy.
That ain't that bad.
Doesn't matter.
That's okay, I forgive you.
As long as you're changing the lettering and replacing, do you want to put welfare up there somewhere too?
I mean, if you guys want that.
Might as well do it all
Okay.
at once, because we know we're moving them over here.
Because, you know, we don't have every office listed out there.
Right.
But if you want me to put welfare out there, I can, because, I mean, we're not going to put teen court out there.
Right.
So, I mean, if you guys want welfare out there, I can, if you feel that we should do that, I can put
Go
that.
look and see how much room there is. What other departments are we missing?
Yep,
That would at least direct people to welfare since we know they're gonna be housed here.
right, yep, so I can, so.
Yeah, we can do that, see how much space there is and have it all done at once instead of
Right.
two separate times.
Correct, yeah, no. I guess I never thought that you'd probably want welfare out there, or, because we did, you know, we don't have everything listed that's on the
Right.
building, but, you know, certainly welfare can go out there. That's fine. Yeah, so I'll just,
Sounds good.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
Yep.
That takes care of our agenda items.
We got it.
I do believe, well, I'm just gonna mention that, I believe we have Chris White, needs an exec for personnel.
Can I step in before?
Sure,
that?
yeah, go ahead.
Can we make a change to that Yeldes strength thing?
Yep.
Because folks, we can't, the way it's rolled up, there's no way we can get equipment out of them doors. So we need to have that west door, and I don't care if they come around the building, just as long as we're not blocking the south doors to the south or the west doors to the west. Our command trailer and stuff, I mean, that's almost 75 feet long, and to come out and be able to make a sharp corner, that ain't gonna work.
When we made the motion to approve, we suggested that you either flag or cone the areas that you want restricted. And they,
I can do that, but nobody ever, this is the first I've heard about it from Gary was this morning.
Right.
So, I'm just,
when we made the motion to approve, we suggested that you mark it so they know where they can't be.
okay, somebody needs to tell us that though, because that's never been,
We just made that decision.
This morning.
10
Okay.
minutes ago, so.
okay, so, do we need to
Indicate it with them.
Do we need to indicate with them, Gary, I'll
I'll
give
let
this,
them know.
give you a copy
Yeah,
of this,
that'd be
and,
great.
and I'll just take some spray paint over there or something and paint in the gravel, that, anything north of this line and west of this line or whatever.
They specifically
Okay.
said when they made their pitch that they're aware that certain areas have to be
Okay.
left open. They're aware of that, so.
I will work with Gary, sorry,
Sounds
Chris.
good, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
yep.
Mr. Chris White, I understand we need an exec for personnel.
Hopefully.
Anything else, legal or contracts or anything?
Yeah, now you mention it, proposed or pending litigation.
Okay, so we're gonna go into exec for personnel and litigation, legal. I entertain a motion.
Thanks for coming. You have a motion and a second.
Motion by Weiss, second by Sutton, to go into exec. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Out of exec, for legal and personnel, there was no action as a result. Anything else come before the commission? Mike, did you have something?
No, I'm good.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Kifley to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are out of exec, for legal and personnel, there was no action as a result. Anything else come before the commission? Mike, did you have something?
No, I'm good.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Kifley to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are